In addition to looking for opportunities to diversify the products for exports, countries can look to diversify their markets. Let's continue examining Côte d'Ivoire. In the Home and Search page, please choose Exports. Type Côte d'Ivoire in the Country field and click on Trade Indicators. If you choose the By Country option, you get a table which is entitled List of Importing Markets for the Product Exported by Côte d'Ivoire in 2018. The subtitle states that Côte d'Ivoire's exports represent 0.1% of world exports, and the country is ranked number 83 in world exports. As we have seen before, the country is a rather small actor in world's exports value. In the first row below the world aggregates, you can see that the Netherlands is the most important target country for Ivorian exports. It accounts for a market share of 11.5%. To analyze better the top exporting partners for Côte d'Ivoire, we can also click on the Graph tab. This yields a bubble graph which visualizes the prospects for market diversification. It includes all products as we have not specified them. The horizontal axis shows the share of partner countries in Ivorian exports in 2018. The vertical axis of the graph represents the annual growth of partner countries' imports from the world between 2014 and 2018. Thus, it indicates how much the importing country's total demand has been growing in the last 5 years. The bubble colors compare this total import growth to the growth of imports from only Côte d'Ivoire for each partner country. If the bubble is yellow, the partner country's imports from the world have been growing faster than this country's imports from Côte d'Ivoire. In contrast, if world exports to a country grow slower than Côte d'Ivoire's exports to this country, the bubble is blue. The bubble is proportional to the share in world imports that each importing country represents. The bubble located on the right-hand side of the graph shows again that the Netherlands buys 11.5% of Ivorian exports. We also see that the bubble that follows is the one for the United States of America, which is the second top importer for Côte d'Ivoire. However, its size shows that the country is a larger player in world imports than the Netherlands. We can also put the cursor again on the bubble for the Netherlands to get some more specific figures. For example, the share in world imports of the Netherlands is 2.65%. Here we can also observe that the total import demand of the Netherlands has been growing in the last 5 years, with an average annual growth rate of 2%. The yellow color of the bubble indicates that the average annual growth of Ivorian exports to the Netherlands has not exceeded this number. The exact figure is displayed in another bubble graph. If you select the second graph option in the combo box, you get a graph with the same vertical axis as before, but on the horizontal axis, there is now displayed the 5 years average annual growth of Côte d'Ivoire's exports to each country. There we can see that Ivorian exports to the Netherlands have been growing by only 1% on annual average in the last 5 years. Similar to what happens to the bubble for the Netherlands, most of the other countries Côte d'Ivoire exports to, including USA, are also located close to the red axis, meaning the exports to those countries have grown around the world average growth of imports, which has been 2% in the last 5 years. The red line divides the chart area into dynamic and less dynamic or declining markets. In terms of market diversification, Côte d'Ivoire should possibly think of identifying alternative markets that are performing similar or better than the Dutch market, which has an average growth of 1%, below the world average of 2%. It can be of advantage to target other markets, such as Vietnam, for example. There, it is clear that Côte d'Ivoire has been performing well, with 5 years average annual growth of exports at 23%, while the overall country's imports have been growing at a rate higher than the world average. The other country with significant opportunity is China. Côte d'Ivoire's exports to China have grown at an average rate of 7% during the last 5 years, and China's import annual growth has been doing better than the world average. Therefore, Vietnam and China are countries that Côte d'Ivoire could target for market diversification. Nevertheless, it is important to always examine more in detail in which product segments Côte d'Ivoire has proven export performance with these countries before taking a final decision on diversification.